Welcome to this week's show. You may notice that this is not Corey with me. Corey is a pussy today. He's like, I gotta sleep. So I recruited Kyle here. You might not recognize him as it seems he has left his cave and joined the rest of society. Welcome, Kyle. Thanks for joining me.
No problem. My pleasure.
It's just such a different look, right? We were just talking about that. Like, I almost didn't recognize you at first. Is this the right guy? Did they send the invite to the wrong person? They just wanted to join, but
Yeah. Well, like I said, after my family's very subtle message to me, they got me clippers for Christmas. So I figured, okay, well, I can take a hint.
but it made me want to grow it even more. Like it's going all the way out.
I was thinking about pissing them off and shaving the head
Yeah, like thanks. This looks
and
really
just like
good.
keeping the beard, but then just shaving the head. But then I remembered my head has like a weird point, and I look like a cone head. So no thanks.
Yeah, it's not the look to go with, even when cone heads were popular. But
Yeah, exactly.
we uh we have some great matchups from last week to talk about. I mean, I say great because I won, so I'm pretty happy. But
Same.
let's get going here and talk about Team Ramrod, still in first place, 10-1-2 after defeating Suck My Ojic 7-5-1. Neil drops down to sixth place. Yeah, what do you think of this matchup?
That was kind of the match that other than my own, that I was kind of looking forward to, because if you look where your two rosters are, uh, it's kind of like, okay, where like your weakness is goaltending, his super strength is goaltending. Like he arguably has the best goaltending setup in the league.
Yeah,
So it was pretty cool. I mean, even then, you look at the stat lines, it's pretty close.
it was.
So it was a hell of a week. I mean, good win on you.
I was very happy with it, so much so that we'll talk later, but I didn't use any pickups until Sunday, and I traded them all away. So I had that luxury where I had a big enough advantage. It was close, but I felt with who I had playing versus who he had playing on Sunday, it was I was comfortable enough not to need my pickups. So
There you go.
big win for Ramrod. Ooh. The 18th round here at 7-5-1, jumping into fifth place after defeating forgot about Dre, who's now 8-4-1 in third place. A big 7-5 victory. What do you think of this one?
Well, it was kind of weird because like looking at the stat line, it looked like the battle of whose goalies were less shit. Like it really was. Somehow they each got 3 wins too, which is pretty funny looking at how bad the goalies were. But yeah, I mean, good win for Travis. I didn't have him pegged to win. I'm not gonna lie.
No, and like Sunday, Nick won that goalie start. He came shopping. I picked him up the goalie he wanted, traded to him, and then the goalie got lit and then pulled. So that kind of backfired. It was a good strategy because like I need to solidify that win, and just Vancouver was trash that day. So big win
Yeah.
for Travis to kind of stay up in the higher standings here into the mix of the playoff hunt. At this point, with the standings so tight, any loss, like it's devastating. It can hurt you so much. Like
Yeah. Well,
you
that's the
drop out
thing.
of a playoff spot.
Well, exactly. Like I went from being in a playoff spot a couple weeks ago to now not being in a playoff spot. Every win, because of just how tight we are, every win has such a drastic change on the standings.
Yeah, I love it. Like this is what we always wanted for the league, right? To be so close where anyone can go in and out of the playoffs at any time. And really, when the league's that close, anyone can. If you make the playoffs, anyone can win it, right?
Mhm. This is the
So
kind of parody Gary Bettman dreams of.
that's right. And then we have Kyle, who the commissioner keeps supporting here. Big mistake. Big mistake. I'm sorry, Kyle. Like we're gonna
Our
have to move
Arizona
him from this.
Coyotes of the pool.
He is. I say that with lightheartedly since I am a Coyotes fan. I'd be the perfect commissioner to support the Coyotes.
Unlike the Yotes, though, he'll be back.
Well, the Yotes will get back eventually.
It's
Give him a
cute.
couple of years. Couple of years.
It's cute you say that.
Logan Cooley, he looks really good. Gunther, you can't say he doesn't look good.
These are going to be guys who, like, in 4 or 5 years, are going to get traded from the Arizona Coyotes.
I hope not.
as
Because
part
like
of another
I
rebuild.
don't know where you go from there if you can't make a winner with these guys. Like, I don't know.
I'll tell you where to go. Some other city.
They'll never move him though. The TV deal, right? It's always the TV deal. That's it. A lot of people say, "Oh, they have no right being there." But Arizona's a huge TV market, and they have no real competition for that market. So ESPN, whatever, will play the Arizona games in that area, right? Like, it's
I just
too
can't see it.
big,
Yeah.
too much money in there that they're like, "Yeah, we can afford to support the league with the money we got from the TV deal. We can support the team."
Hmm.
Captain Crunch. 6-7 jumps into 11th place after taking down Team Rocket here at 1-11-1, 16th place. 8-7 close game. Both these guys came shopping at Team Ramrod's shop here on Sunday to try and get that win. What do you think of this matchup, Kyle?
Well, he got lucky. I mean, like the only reason why Captain Crunch won was goaltending. I mean, every other stat, like every other like offensive stat line was pretty heavily on Kyle's side. But that Philly goalie and then Stalock both had really, really outstanding games, just enough to push him to win all those categories. It's really what did it for him.
That Philly goalie is like a hidden gem. Like, he just got a shutout the other night.
Had a 9.66 the other night after that. Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
like,
John Tortorella's gonna hate him because I don't know,
because he's
probably he
good.
doesn't hit.
We don't like talent here in Philly. Chase them out of town. Big
Yeah.
win though for Domo. Keeps him still in the thick of the race. Kyle, well, you're never in the race. Like, I think the only time you were in the race was week 1 before you got your first loss.
He's winning the Connor Bedard race.
Maybe he has to have the right pick.
Like,
That's good on him. Thinking of the future. He's gonna have a whole year to stare at a golden dick to think about like Connor. He's coming. He's gonna save me. Bring me out from obscurity here. Speaking of bottom feeders, oh man, Dahl tried the beef. 3-9-1 here. 15th place still after defeating Dude Where's My Car. Drops to 4-8-1 in 13th place. A big 6-4 victory for Daltrey. What happened here?
um, just what I predicted, to be honest with you. I flipped a coin really to decide this one. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, both actually had some pretty decent goaltending. Just Daltrey's were a little bit better. Saros is on a bit of a run. They
64
were,
save win last week, right? Like,
yeah, and they were on a 7. They won 7 of their last 10, 7 of their last 11 until they met Toronto tonight. And Saros still put up good numbers tonight. Like, that's the thing. That when he traded for Saros, he was like, "Yeah, finally, I fixed my goaltending problem." Now it's starting to cash in for him.
a little too late for him, but I know things are good for him now. McKinnon's back. Wilson's back. Maybe he makes a little run, and I don't think it's impossible to sneak in, but
But even if he can't, he can also play heartbreaker to some people who,
oh yeah,
it's last week thinking they're going to get some easy passes, and here comes Daltrey ruining your chance of playoffs. That can be just
yeah,
as fun.
yeah. I think that's more fun. If you're already out of it, like, who cares? But
Yeah, exactly.
let's do this. Especially with no weighted lottery, right? Like, I'm not making the playoffs. I'm going to get a shot at it.
Yeah,
Now, Daltrey seemed would be dirty if he picked up a Bedard.
and that
Bedard, McKinnon, Saros, Wilson.
it's it's going
Real,
to make him a very ugly team next year.
yeah. I'm not saying I'm cheering for you to win it, Daltrey, but I'd be interested to see the results. So,
Yeah.
Jagger Bombs finally getting back in the win column here. He's been on a little run here. I think he won like last week or a couple weeks ago, but he's been on a slide. Well, so was his opponent, right? But Jagger Bomb 7-5-1 now in 4th place, back up to 4th, defeating Patchery to Rumble 8-4. Patches drops to 6-7 in 12th place. Yeah, he's in 12th, but he's still not out of it.
No.
Kyle, what happened here?
Another one, just good, good goaltending. Some got a couple of got a couple of stats. For the rest of the skater stats, but really his goaltending did it for him. They 9-2-2, 5 wins. Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
good win for him.
Patches, the goalie king. He's not the goalie king anymore. Like even his Colorado duels, they're not playing well. Colorado is not playing well. I don't know what's wrong with them, but they need to find themselves here again. So for Patch's sake.
My biggest fear at the beginning of the season was whenever I traded Frank Hughes for Murray. And I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna look back on that and hate myself. And now I'm like, wow, it might be my one trade this season that really paid off.
That was it was yeah, it could have worked out either way still, but like
Yeah, I mean, like I could
Colorado's
be
just not playing well. So
exactly.
let's speaking about your team here. Big 6-4 win over the defending champ, 7 on the ice. You're now 6-1 in ninth place. You got the tiebreaker on 7, who's now 6-1 in 10th place. What happened here?
This one literally had me sweating until the last game was played on Sunday. Because we were so close. I mean, we were tied in assists, tied in game-winning goals. I had him up 1 on Pims. I had 2 shots over him. You know what I mean? Like it could have literally went anyway. And if his goalie could have gotten a win, then he would have beaten me in wins. It was literally. I was sweating the whole time, and then I was even sweating later on, thinking about what if there's a stat correction. So
Check that in advance. Check that.
it could have literally went anyway. It was tight the entire time. It was exciting.
That's
Terrifying,
good.
exciting.
That's a good matchup, right? Like, those are the ones that are so much fun. Is when you just don't know, and you're watching the score, you're praying like, please get me a hit, please get me a shot, like whatever you need, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's what fantasy hockey's all about.
it was fun. I don't want it to happen again, but it was fun.
Sauce Pass, 8-3-2 now in second place, takes over second after an 8-4 victory over Wonton Soup. Drops to 4-8-1 here in 14th place. What happened here?
Um, you know, um, it wasn't what I expected to happen. But Wonton's team did what it had to do, and they got the win. But I mean, Corey's in a good spot. Like it's not gonna hurt him that bad.
Well, Corey won. Corey won 8-4.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. My apologies.
Ooh.
I lost my page. There we go. Yeah, I know. Corey won. Corey won big. Corey won good, and I figured he would.
Yeah, it was a good match. Good for Corey. Jumping into second place.
I accidentally went to the wrong week on my thing. Sorry.
No excuses. Unprofessionalism. This is why we don't invite him back too often.
So I'm only a guest.
That's it. He's not even a friend of the show. He's a guest. The last matchup here, I was shocked. I never thought I would see this. Rospendalen Fan Club, 7-6-0 now in 7th place, dropped some Red Wings on Sunday in order to defeat whatever Sean's name is, Chris Criding, Crease Crashers here. 6-5-2 in 8th place. Big win for Derek. I just can't believe he dropped some Red Wings. I just never thought I'd see the day. Kyle, what do you tell me about this?
That was Derek's way of telling us he's out. He's coming. He's here to play. For him to drop a Red Wing is like the biblical version of sacrificing a virgin.
He dropped 2.
He dropped 2. It's like taking off both gloves and dropping both gloves. Like this.
That's it.
That's what that was. Confetti gloves.
Huge win though. 8-6 over Sean. Right, he leaps over Sean into 7th place. I love to see Sean on the edge of not making the playoffs. That's my favorite spot for him, is just down at the bottom of the standings. But for years, he's just dominated the standings, right? Like the regular season. And it's nice to see that, his team is aging out and he needs to make some changes. Yeah, he just doesn't want to face it.
He was kind of like the San Jose Sharks of our pool there. He was regular season beauty, favorite to win the whole thing, never quite got it done. And now starting to age.
That's right. He's going to be like the Joe Thornton of our league, just never win. No matter what his team looks like, never win. Sorry, Sean. It was
he's gonna although Sean, unlike the San Jose Sharks, he'll be back.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe he will. I heard he might quit. No. There were a lot of trades last week. I think the last one we talked about was the Drew Doughty Jones trade. Um, I don't remember when we recorded, to be honest. The fifth would have been Thursday. No, so we didn't talk about any of these trades. So yeah. First trade we're talking about pretty big trade here. 18th round. You know him as Travis because he changes his name every week. Got Marcus Foligno, an eighth and a ninth. From Dude Where's My Car here. Dan getting Binnington, a 16th and a 17th. What do you think of this trade?
Uh so I mean, Bennington's not doing well. I mean, yes, he's still a starter, but he's not doing well. I mean, the Blues are doing bad. So I mean, I guess this is a great way for Travis to get max value out of Bennington. An eighth and ninth, those are good pieces. So I mean, yeah, and I mean for Makar, I guess it gives him a goalie, a starter. So
Yeah, he needed it to fix his goaltending, right?
yeah,
So
if
he
he
actually
doesn't
went out
go,
and spent some of his picks. He had a rich abundance of picks, good picks, and that's what he should be doing. Spend a little to improve your team, right? So
and I mean, like, yes, like, okay, so like Bennington's not the prettiest option on the market, but the market's pretty bleak for goalies. So I mean, you're getting what's out there, and you're not spending a first for it. So I guess he kind of wins in that regard. But I mean, Travis wins by getting rid of him.
man, Foligno's a good piece to get back to.
Yeah,
He
Foligno's
got
good for one.
two. I like the trade for both. I like that Dan finally fixed his goalie so I can go get a starter. He
Yeah.
didn't pay he paid two high picks, but let's be real, that eighth is mine, so it's essentially two nines. Um yeah, we got Foligno out of it too. So I like it for both. But we're just talking about goalies being hard to get. Later that night here, Travis just picks up another goalie. I like to see these on the IR right now. Travis picking up Stuart Skinner and two 18s, hence his team name, because I believe he has four 18th round picks. He made a deal with Neil here for Skinner and those 18s for Fabry as seventh and my eighth. What do you think of this trade?
Well, I mean, before Skinner was put on the IR, it was a great trade, in my opinion. Because I mean, let's be honest, Edmonton is better than the Blues. Skinner is doing better than Bennington. Stewart basically stole the starting role from Jack Campbell, who's now the most overpaid second, backup. I mean, again, it didn't cost him a first, seventh, and an eighth. You just got an eighth, so I don't know. I think that's a good trade for both sides.
Fair. I like the trade. I don't. The only thing I don't like it for Neil is now he's only running Sorokin and Shesterkin. He only runs the two, so he's given up. He's given up saves essentially to hope that his goalie's superior stats, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes like a bad start is still a win sometimes, right? So you could cost yourself wins and saves. That's my only critique on it. I don't think the balance is off or anything like that, but I don't personally I like having at least three goalies. So
No, I hear you. I'm running three, so like I get it.
I like to hold on to that third. Just get me some starts when I need them. But if it's working for Neil, good for him. Although it didn't work for him last week. Just my boy Brock Nelson on the move again. I thought I found a safe home there with Captain Crunch, but I guess he felt like he needed to go see Corey's second place team here. Brock Nelson in a ninth, going to Corey. Domo getting Heiskanen and a 12th. What do you think of this trade?
I mean, I like the trade. I mean, Haskinen's be like he wanted a top D man. Haskinen is a top D man, and he puts up all the stats. I mean, Brock Nelson, he's doing pretty good.
He has some good
Ninth
season.
for a 12th. That's not a huge. It's not a huge gulf in picks. I like it for both sides. Like, again, these are, and I'm going to say this, and I can't believe I'm saying this about Adomo, but it's a really smart trade.
It's filling the gap with a guy that he's not just going to trade again and throw away, right? So, yeah, I don't mind it for both of them. I'm
Yeah.
disappointed that Nelson had to get moved again, his poor family, but yeah. This is when the Team Ramrod shop opened. I was open for business Sunday. I was just in the mood to make some deals, improve my draft stock because like, I think I'm gonna go in next year with a full repertoire of picks here. Like I don't usually go in there with anything lower than 13th, and I have everything lower than 13th back except for a 7th. So I think I restocked the shelves here. I wasn't planning on doing that Sunday. I got a little message here from Kyle. Kyle reaching out. Will you add drop someone for me and for a pick upgrade? I said, listen, here's the issue. I don't have that space to drop, so I need to move either Bunting, Quick, or Smith. So when we started talking, he's like, "Well, what's it going to cost? Like, how about I'll give you Ingram and a 9th for Quick and a 17th, and then you pick up the player I want and trade him to me." Okay, I could do that. So I
I
got
mean,
Ingram and a 9th. Got rid of Quick, who has been nothing but terrible for me of late if he even plays. And yeah,
yeah.
I got a 9th for Jonathan Quick when I paid an 8th for him at the start of the year. I'll take that. What do you think of it?
I mean, you pretty much made up what you spent for him. So I mean, that's fine. And he gets Quick. Like Quick does get the odd start here and there. I mean, Copley's pretty much taken that crease. But I mean, Ingram plays for Arizona, so I mean,
Yeah,
you're not going to
he's your
get called.
backup.
But you know what?
I
He hasn't been
immediately
bad.
dropped him and picked up Morgan Frost, which is the next deal, and traded him to Kyle for Matt Martin.
Yeah, but I mean,
That
like,
was the other part of the deal,
yeah, but I
right?
mean, even if you let's say would have kept him, like theoretically, right? He's getting some starts, and he hasn't been doing that bad either for Arizona.
He was at first. He's been better lately. He's been
Yeah,
better lately.
like so. I mean, yeah, you did drop him, so like, I mean, all that's theoretical, but and then there's the nothing trade later.
Now that I had Matt Martin on my roster, I'm like, I have a spot that I want to drop. And if anyone wants to buy my spots, my ad drops, let's talk. No one messaged me for hours. Then Nick comes calling. He's like, I want Riddich. I need to see that he's starting. So we put a deal in place. Um, pending, right? I said one of my 12th coming back to me would be great. I would like to bring it back into the fold and send me whoever for a pick upgrade. So here comes the game time. He's got confirmed. Comes message. Let's do it. All right. Pick up Riddich. Drop Matt Martin. Trade him for my Sherratt and a 12 for Riddich and a 15th. I was only expecting a round upgrade. This guy generously gave me 3 rounds. So I was very pleased with it. Kyle, what do you think of it?
I mean, it's there's no real losers here. I mean, although I think Rich didn't have that great a game.
No, he did not. He got pulled.
Yeah, so I mean, technically Nick lost, but like on a trade value wise, yeah, that's good for everyone.
I was very pleased to get so far that day, I made a 9th and a 12th. I got rid of a 15th and no 17th. So I was happy with that.
It's a good day.
Oh, then this one kind of tied in. I just didn't have a spot that I was willing to. I kind of wanted to keep Sherratt. Like I liked his numbers. So I told Travis came calling. Travis came calling earlier in the day for both my spots after I'd already made that deal with Nick. I told Nick though I'd honor it. That Travis, your opponents come calling for both, but I'm going to honor the deal that we had because it was already in place. So I told Travis, I have one spot I can trade you, but I don't have a guy to draw. So I traded Riley Smith for Halak, and then I picked up Kulikov for him. Traded Kulikov and my 18th back to get Smith back with a 16th. What do you think of this one?
I mean, again, it's nothing really wrong with it. I mean, it didn't cost Wasn't
I got a
expensive.
couple pick upgrade. Like,
Yeah, like it's not an expensive move. So yeah, it's
yeah,
great.
it was a free move for me, right? So
Yeah.
I'll take it. And that's when you thought I was done for the week. I told you I still have Bunting. Bunting was playing that night too, so he added value, right? I've been getting. I had two offers on the table earlier this week for nines for Bunting, but I held off. I'm like I didn't like the pick difference. The pick difference was too close. It just meant nothing, right? And if I'm going to get rid of a guy who's in my lineup producing, I'm going to get an advantage in the trade, right? Like to me, so I needed a bigger pick difference. Then comes desperation Sunday here. I know Domo wants that win bad. His opponent already came calling to me earlier to pick up that Flyers player. Um, so I said, I was getting a ninth early. He offered me actually out of nowhere an eighth for a ninth. Killorn and a nine or and an eighth for Bunting and a ninth. I didn't like that. I wanted a bigger spread, right?
Yeah.
So I countered with a 15. He countered with a 10. I countered with a 13. He accepted. So to me, 5 pick upgrade. Yeah, okay, Bunting's good, but now I have that spot where I can drop a player and not feel guilty about it, right?
Mhm.
Now I have Killorn I can just throw away at any time. You're garbage to me, Killorn. But yeah, I didn't need Bunting. He's not going to make the difference between me and a championship. I figured if I can get an eighth and replenish my draft stock, I was happy with it. What do you think of the trade?
No, exactly what you said. I mean, it's one of those ones where you got. I think you came out of the like nobody loses in the trade, but I think you won it. You know what I mean? Like he gets the player who's producing quite well, who played who played the games and who even played tonight, who's producing on a good team where let's be honest, now you have Killorn who's a space that you could drop whenever you need it.
Exactly. And I needed that. Like,
Mhm.
I have the thing is right now I have two guys like that, but I have to drop one for free because I'm gonna have all my people healthy this week. Anderson's back, he's off the IR, so I have to drop someone. So that's a free drop and keep the rest of my team intact, right? So
You couldn't have stayed out for one more week. Two
no, and
weeks.
he's probably starting tomorrow, I imagine, to come off the IR, and they're playing Columbus, so I have high hopes for him tomorrow.
Ugh.
Now this is a big trade for you. We were talking about Janot earlier, right? So I
Yeah.
forgot about Dre picking up Janot and the 18th from his 18th from Clef Bob for a Lekanen and a ninth. Why don't you tell me about this?
So Nick had messaged me a couple days before, wondering if I was going to go into seller mode, and I said no, I'm not. But there's a couple players on my roster I was willing you know, to let go of. So I gave him some names, and he was like, "Well, what about Janot?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not really attached to him. So, like, what was the offer?" We kind of kicked the tires a little bit, and he basically made that offer because it wasn't far from what I was looking for. Matter of fact, it was a little bit more generous than what I was looking for.
Good like
So
that.
yeah, so I said, go ahead, let's do it, and that was it. It really wasn't a case where either one of us was trying to get the win over anybody. That he's like, this is the price I'm willing to pay, and I'm like, yep, I'll take it.
Yeah, no, I like the trade. I like Lekanen. I know his playing time might get like cut down, go on to another line once Landeskog comes back, but that's still probably a couple of weeks away. But he plays shorthanded. He can play the power play. I don't know how often he does. I think right now he's playing it a lot, but probably the second unit in a couple weeks. But you got a ninth with him. Janot adds a lot of grind, which I think Nick is what he was looking for. He was kind of depleted in his grind. So
Yeah,
I like the trade. I like you guys both filled holes you need. Like you said earlier, you're not going to win those categories, so you're kind of going away. Like I'm going to go build skill. So pick up a
exactly.
skill guy with a draft pick.
And the other thing too that it gives me is that there was no players on my roster that I was like, okay, if I have to make a he's now my Kalorn. Where if I need to drop
Yeah,
him,
you can drop him
I,
without
I I'm
feeling
not gonna I'm
bad.
not gonna lose any sleep over it. Like if I cause like before it's like, who do I drop out of this roster that I really, really like? Now it's like I don't have to drop a Matt Duchene
Yeah.
for for to make a pickup or to make a trade. I can drop Lekanen and still sleep at night.
There's nothing worse than Sunday comes along. you're in a tight match. I'd be like, I want to make my ad drops, but who the fuck am I is worth dropping? Like, I don't like that. I don't like being in that position. So that's why I did what I wanted. I want
Yeah.
to get Kalor, a guy who's a throwaway, right? So it's a good strategy to have one or two of those spots. Guys who are expensive. They're going to play games. They're going to get you something during the week.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you're done with it, you just throw them away.
Yeah.
You know? I like the trade. You always say I don't like your trades, but I like that one.
Please, everybody, can mark this on your calendars. It's the
Hey,
one trade.
I like all the ones we make together for sure.
Well, yeah, because you win most of them. So
Well, sometimes it works out that way, but it doesn't always work out that way.
yeah, true.
You know, at first glance, maybe it'll appear that way, but you can't really tell until the season plays out, right? So
I still maintain I did not lose the Trouba trade.
you got what you wanted.
I got what I wanted. And
Yeah.
Trouba's not having like the world's greatest season. He's having a good season, but
Not offensively, but he still grinds, right? And that's what I really wanted him for.
He's a man breaker. That's what he does.
Yeah. That's why I will trade for him every year if someone's willing to trade me him. Who knows if like Anderson keeps getting hurt? Maybe he's on my keeper roster. I don't like to keep defensemen, but Trouba has my heart.
Yeah, there's a few defensemen out there that are like like your Yossi's, your Trubas, Brent Burns when he was Brent Burns,
Hedman, like
Hedman. Those are the rare keeper. Makar, Fox.
yeah, Makar. Obviously, you keep Makar. Like
Yeah, those are your rare keeper defenders, right?
yeah, I don't like to give defensemen a lot of credit for keeper status, but there are some, right? They do exist. I'm not saying it's always a bad call, but 95% of the time it's a bad call. All right, we got take a little break here and start a second part.